Robert Evans famously stated, "There are three sides to every story: your side, my side, and the truth." At least that's part of his quote. But it certainly applies to the Netflix documentary, A Toxic Love Story. This is a twisty and messed up 90 minutes that I think is going to stick with you. In a glamorous California suburb, a young woman's arrest for a violent fantasy plot against her ex-boyfriend's new wife becomes a sensational scandal. So this doc follows a married couple who are allegedly being harassed and eventually threatened by the man's ex, with promises of escalating violence. Now, this took place in Anaheim, which is where the happiest place on earth is, but not for this group of people. We're shown the three main involved individuals: Ian and Angela Diaz, the couple that are being tormented, and Michelle Hadley, Ian's supposedly jilted ex who seems hell-bent on wreaking unending havoc in the newly married couple's life. Now, we get to see body cam footage from responding officers as they listen to the Diaz's complaints, as they review some messages, and even then when Michelle is eventually served with a TRO, which is a temporary restraining order, that also dictated zero contact. But then after the continued messages, we see Michelle being arrested, but with all the charges she accumulated thanks to the threatening messages and then the violation of the TRO, her potential jail sentence, it's stiff. It'd make you think that she actually fulfilled her vindictive plots. Then, like with any twisted tale, the narrative shifts and we get to see the story from a completely different perspective. And this is when the documentary begins to get intense, which, it already was, so this is intenser. That's a word, right? Well, through interview footage from friends, acquaintances, even former partners, we get a more rounded view of all of the events. This then pushed me towards the edge of the couch as I was sucked into the practically unbelievable drama. Now, I do say practically because I have been around people before, so I do know what they are kind of capable of. But the story becomes more layered with complexity and deviousness. Now, one thing to understand through this, which contributes a ton to the accusations against Michelle, is that Ian is a U.S. Marshal. He's one of those dudes that goes after federal fugitives, kind of like Tommy Lee Jones going after Harrison Ford. He's credible, appropriately calm, and also freaked out for his wife, and then can provide the necessary details any investigator would be looking for. His wife, Angela, on the other hand, she's shown to be somebody who might not always be the most reliable of narrators. This thing creates a she said doubt that makes us question both parties because it becomes difficult to tell who's lying and who's telling the truth. Now, the storytelling is supported with some good mixtures of archival footage and interviews. They help to provide a balanced view of everyone involved, including friends, family, and law enforcement. After about the halfway point, most of the mystery pieces have all fallen into place, and the trajectory might feel somewhat predictable, or at least obvious, but then the remainder showcases all of the investigations, the interrogations, and then the evidence collecting. That may have made it sound very procedural and almost uninteresting, but the way all of the interviews are combined conveys this sense of urgency, as if the case is happening right now and we're watching it unfold in real time. Now, for those of us who are right fighters and don't enjoy watching injustice go unanswered, there is a resolution to the case. Now, some of it is satisfying, but like with many true crime cases, the punishments don't always seem as weighty or comprehensive as they should. And in this one in particular, there's a massive imbalance between what some charges were and then the potential outcomes could have been, especially given all the allegations. Now, some of the crimes, they're heinous and devious, even in just their planning and description. But then we hear how one was put into motion. There's a layer of ick that covers the perpetrators that I'm not sure even Dawn soap could break through. To add to the overall strangeness of this case, there's a final bit of one interview that's going to leave you just scratching your head. I can't tell if it's delusion, blind affection, or straight up denial, but the comments that were made had me laughing incredulously at the amount of disbelief that needed to be suspended by this particular subject. Now, even though this is 90 minutes long, it didn't feel anywhere close to that. Storytelling is broken up into basically three parts, with each being comprehensive in detail, but never dragging or losing momentum. I paused at one point to grab a snack, and I was shocked that the film was just about over. It felt like as though maybe 25 minutes had passed. So that was a pleasant surprise to have a story that didn't feel as though it was skimping on details, but at the same time wasn't wasting my time with irrelevant or erroneous tangents. Overall, A Toxic Love Story is a riveting true crime documentary that uses its time efficiently to present a compelling and twisted tale about obsession and control, but not so much about love. The balanced interviews are captured intimately and convincingly, reinforcing what the news and police body cam footage showcase, all working together to build a narrative that feels inspired by a psychological thriller novel. If you love documentaries and also strange but true criminal activities, consider giving this one a go. There's no sex and nudity, some profanity, and then descriptions of some horrendous violence. As a reminder, I don't give couch ratings to documentaries, but I do highly recommend checking out A Toxic Love Story on Netflix. All right, so had you heard of this case before the documentary? I hadn't. Oh, what a trip. Okay, what are some other true crime docs that will suck you in with their drama and their twists? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching.